Someone said, I just read somewhere that jealousy in relationships and life in general has nothing to do with the other person, but everything to do with us and our feelings of insecurities and not really being worthy. Maybe you could give us a deeper insight into this and advise us on some practical steps to deal with it. Well, yes and no. I mean, I don't think it would be fair to say it's always because of your insecurity, because maybe the person is objectively doing something wrong and is making you feel like you're the oversensitive one by not allowing them to kind of run off in this little micro affair or actual affair, whatever. So sometimes there's an objectively grave injustice going on, and you're right to feel hurt. So sometimes that's going on. Other times, it is stuff from the past. It is stuff like I've been burned in the past, I've been hurt in the past, and if I ever get even a sniff of it, my radar is on high alert, and I start blaming the other person when in reality there's stuff in me that I really haven't addressed, that I really haven't, healed from, and so I'm hypersensitive. And so you really got to discern, what's going on there. Is it wounds from the past? Is it an indiscretion on the part of the other? I don't think we can have a cookie cutter answer to that, because in every relationship, the situation is going to be unique. And so if you're starting to doubt your judgment, well, maybe I'm too, oversensitive, and maybe this person's right, that they should be able to hang out with this other person of the opposite sex for hours on end, texting back and forth. No, I don't think so. All right. And so if you're really starting to trust or doubt your judgment, talk to people who love you. Talk to people whose opinions you respect and admire, and listen to what they have to say. Because, sometimes when you're in the middle of fog of a relationship, it really helps to get some outside advice. So, Crystalina, your thoughts? I'll run through some more questions here.
Also, the other person really should respect that maybe you've been burned in the past, and just be sensitive to that. And over time, the more secure you feel in your relationship, the more you are really free from having those types of insecurities or thoughts, your mind just wandering when that person's away from you, and where are they at? What are they doing? Who are they with? But there is something to be said that if you have some brokenness and you're bringing that into a relationship and it's undealt with, it will bubble over onto that other person if they're doing something or not. And like Jason said, there are some real reasons why maybe you are being jealous, or maybe there are warning signs that are happening when he's around other women right in front of you, and you're thinking, well, if he's doing this in front of me, what's he doing when he's not in front of me? And at the end of the day, you need to pray about it. You need to listen to that deep voice inside of your conscience, God speaking to you. And you sometimes know the answer. And sometimes they're doing something wrong. You're with the wrong person. You're with a cheater. You're with someone that's flirting. You really need to just cut it off then, and not put yourself through that, because you don't always want to wonder when that person leaves. You want to know that they love you, they're with you, they support you, and that if you're there or not, they're going to be the same, and they're going to be faithful. And if you're always constantly questioning, put yourself out of your own misery, and it's just not worth it sometimes.
Yeah, and one other thought that comes to mind too is when it comes to affairs, it's not simply sexual affairs, physical affairs. There's also emotional affairs. And these things, these emotional affairs, do not become baptized if they are religious in nature. Meaning sometimes people seek out friendships with members of the opposite sex when they're already in like a committed marital relationship to have deep spiritual intimacy with some other girl or some other guy. Oh, no, it's religious. It's like St. Francis and Clare. No, it's actually not, okay? And so when you start going outside of a relationship for the needs that should be satisfied within the relationship, that's a big red flag. And certainly if you start to have to hide stuff, things like that. But don't think that this thing is anything more acceptable if there's a spiritual excuse behind it. That's, yes, we should have friends, but, to me, you really got to have discernment for the other person. If they love you, then they're not going to call you oversensitive. They're going to care about your feelings instead of just dismissing them and discarding them and pretending like you're the problem. Let's say you are oversensitive. Okay, well then what should the person do? They should care about your sensitivities instead of just overriding all of them. So continue to listen to your gut and talk to people you love and respect and admire.
And it's okay to have standards. It's okay. And you don't need to lower the bar to be with anybody. And if you do, you need to question why you're doing that. It's not worth it.